Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Joe Daddy's Garage. It is Monday, August 4th, 2025, and it's about 68 degrees here in Georgia. Yay! We've got this cold front that came through, and last week we are hitting in the 90s, and this week we're barely breaking into the 70s. So it's nice, but unfortunately it's also raining. So it's been raining off and on, well, pretty much raining all day today, but it's been off and on over the last couple days, and they're predicting more rain throughout this week, which is okay. I don't mind rain. Obviously, we all like to have the sunshine, but the cooler temperatures, I'll take it. I will definitely take it. So I haven't had to turn the air on in the shop today, which was nice, and I was able to just relax in the garage, listen to my music, do the things that I need to do, and work on some video stuff. Now, I know y'all had seen the last video that I talked about. I hope y'all had seen it, where I was talking about taking a break. And in a sense, it's not really taking a break, but sometimes it's taking a change in direction. So, whenever I get frustrated on something and I know that if I just keep on hammering after it, odds are I'm going to mess up and do something wrong. And, I didn't stop. I just went and did something else and then did something else. So I think I've resolved most of the bugs that were irritating me. And I started back on the headlight buckets. So those are going together. I was making a video for my patrons of the assembly process. And in that video, I'm going to highlight a bunch of the just weird stuff. Like putting them together shouldn't be this complicated. It really shouldn't. But the pieces and parts all have to sequence, right? Sequence is scored. So all the pieces and parts have to go in at a certain way. And when you get the hardware kits that come with these new parts, you almost have to guess at what they were trying to do. Like there's extra clips and there's this and that and the other, and like what do you want us to do here? And so by a matter of deduction, I've been able to kind of work my way through assembling the headlights. At this point, it's kind of odd. I have the passenger side outer headlight installed, and I have the trim also on the intersection. And on the driver's side, I have the inner headlight installed with the intersection, but not the outer. And the reason for that was I was confused when I ordered headlight buckets from NPD. When I was reading through their thing and it said this part number is for this location, but it can be used at this other location. And I thought, well, if it can be, I should just get two of those. And so that's what I did. And then the other one said this, and I said, oh, okay, let me get two of those. Because if I read it correctly, it said it can be used in these other locations. Well, I think can be and should be are two different things. I don't know if they're implying that you can put this one on the opposite side, but it'll index your headlight crooked. I don't know if that's what they were trying to say, because the headlights have to fit in the bucket a certain way. They got the three posts on the headlight that have to line up with the three slots. Can, yeah, sure. Will, no, don't do it. So I had ordered two of one and two of another, thinking I could make them all four work, and I can't. So I've gone back and I've ordered two more of the other ones and two more of the other one for the other side, because I'm going to probably need a set for my Mach 1 anyway. So I'll just get get the whole set and have them ready to go whenever I eventually get back to my car. So I've been, addressing fitment issues and clips and hardware and a whole bunch of different things. And with that, there's something I want to tell everybody right now. On these headlight buckets, and I can't remember if the 68 is the same or not, because I've not put together the 69. In fact, when I got the Cobra Jet, the grill section, all that was already removed, and the inner headlights were missing. So I didn't even have a template to base it off of. But I'm trying to remember if the 68 has 2 screws on the headlight ring and a spring, or if it had 3 screws. I know a lot of the vehicles had 3 screws. The headlight bucket was set into the fixture with a spring and 2 adjusters. Apparently, that's not the way it is on the 69. They have the spring attaches to the stainless headlight ring, and then 2 screws hold it together. And let me tell you, it's a bear. Trying to put that together is very difficult. But I want to point this out. If you're doing that and you've got one of these screws, or one of these springs, for the 69, there's a certain way this fits. I'm trying to put it in front of the door so everybody can see the shape of it. So it's got a hook with a little tongue sticking out on the front side here. And then the opposite side has this big J hook looking thing. Well, what you need to do first is stretch the spring. Right now, or when these are out of the box or out of the bag, these things are super, super tight. And I struggled to get the first one on, and I thought, there's no way this thing should be this difficult. So I pulled out one of the old springs, and I was able to bend it and manipulate it, and thinking, this thing moves a lot easier than the new one. So what I did is I put the J-hook in my vise, and I clamped onto the other end with a pair of vice grips and just tugged on it and stretched this out to where I could just get a gap. I could see light coming through it. I was able to stretch that out, and once I did that, I was able to put it together a lot easier. So just know that it's a challenge if you're using the brand new springs and they're not stretched out. So I'll show you that headlight extension in just a minute, but I've got some other things I want to do here. I hope everybody's having a good week had a good weekend and going to get stuff done this week. I know that's the plan for me, but I'm going to check in with everybody and see who's here. And if you're new to my live stream, I do this on Monday nights at 7 o'clock. I've been doing this. There's like 290 episodes or something. I don't remember. It's some crazy number. Maybe it's not that high. I don't remember. But there's a lot of live stream episodes on YouTube, and it's a podcast type of thing. But if you're new to it, I talk about cars, Mustangs a lot, but cars between 1955 and about 1980. So if you have something you want to bring up, a subject matter that you want to talk about or a question, feel free to ask. But that is pretty much my timeline of vehicles. And that's just because I have a lot of history on those. So first in tonight is Rick Gain. Last car chat I will be involved in at 53 years old. At the time of our next meeting, I will be a year older. Everybody hit the like and thumbs up button. Thank you, Rick. Whoops. And I'll give you a preemptive happy birthday. How about that? Dave Tyson. First Dave sighting. Good evening, all. Evening, Dave. Glad you're here. Terry Keithley. Good evening, everyone. And Barry, please hit the thumbs up and like button for Barry. Thank you kindly, Terry and Betty and the cats. Glad you all are here. TJ. Good evening, Barry and everyone from East Dublin, Georgia, where every day is a holiday and every meal is a feast. Amen to that. Amen to that. Steve Reed. Hello, Barry and everyone. Hope everything's going well. The Cobra Jet is really looking awesome. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Awesome, and don't forget to give thumbs up. There we go. Thumbs up for Barry. Thank you, Steve. Robert, the Infernal Craftsman. Evening, all. Got the ribs on the grill. I have to go unwrap. Be right back. Okay. I'll take the ribs. Sorry. Glad you're here, Robert. Richard Vogel. Good evening, Barry. It's great to get together again. Yes, it is. Glad you're here. Rusty's Restoration. Hello, all, and Barry. Give Barry a thumbs up. Yes, please. Let him know that you're watching. Let YouTube know that you're watching us and you like it. Jerry is checking in from Jerry's Garage, the Money Pit. Good evening from Jerry to all from. Good evening to all from Middle Tennessee. I guess is what we're shooting for there. Glad you're here, Jerry. Troy Justit. Greetings from rainy coastal Georgia, and welcome to the Church of Joe Daddy, where we learn the ministry of the manipulation of metal. Hitting the bourbon early, are you? David, bowler hat guy. Good evening, Barry. Hello, all. Glad you're here. Jiggy, getting jiggy with it. Happy birthday, Rick Gang. Greetings all from Stockbridge. Don't mind the racket or occasional swear word. I'm still grinding away at the shock towers. Okay. Have fun. Roger, Hindsight 67. Greetings from next door. Greetings, Raj. And Rick Gain, are you allowed to play music on Patreon videos? I still watch them on YouTube, so you get the credit and revenue for it. I'm not sure. I haven't tried it. I'm not sure if Patreon allows that. And the reason I say that is even though it's a service that other people are paying to use, they still may have copyright rights that they have to endorse. So I don't know if that's an option. Not that it's not that I'm generating anything, from the Patreon video, but I don't know if there's some sort of stipulation there. Because, technically with my patrons funding this, then maybe they see that as some sort of a copyright. I don't know. I haven't looked into it very, very, very much. But it would be nice if I could just let music play and do the thing that I want to do. I may have to check into that. Dave Conville, good evening. Evening, Dave. Robert says, ribs are sauced and ready shortly. Okay. Quit calling me shortly. Dominic Gozo. I'm going to say Gozo. How about that? Hello, all. Hello, Dominic. Glad you're here. So, as you all know, we are getting closer to the end of the Cobra Jet build. And I still have to paint the hood. I've been just not in a hurry to paint the hood. Because I know it's a high stress point. I know that already. But I'm going to be working on that probably in the next day or so, because I've done as much as I can to the headlight buckets. And I have one laying here, so I'm going to show it to you. So this is the passenger side headlight bucket. And what you'll see is I have the original wiring harness that was on the car. I've reinstalled that. And this is your two prong for this inner headlight and the 3-prong for the outer headlight. So what I've also done, as seen here, is I've installed this outer headlight, and that's what I was talking about with the spring. And then I managed to get this inner trim piece on, and it turned out pretty decent. I had to fight with it and reshape it some. There was some other issues I had dealt with, but I have to accept that these weren't perfect at all from the factory. Like, these pieces weren't even good on the factory cars. So what I have now, I think, is as close as anyone is going to get with this. So what I'm waiting on is the new set of headlight buckets so I can finish this side. I do not want to install this on the car until I have the headlight bucket, because it is a bear to get that spring on. And when I say that, I don't know how well this will show up on the camera. I don't want to drop this thing. This spring here is now about, like, the inner part of it is about 1.5 inches, maybe, but this is stretched out a lot to make that fit. And what I had to do was actually attach it, put the headlight bucket in, or headlight assembly in, and go through this hole with the spring on with a pair of needle nose vice grips, hook it on the stainless, pull it back, and come around this post. So I don't know how these guys did it when they were on the assembly line. Like, if those springs were that hard to fight with, or I'm not. I don't know if they did. I don't know if they pre-built these. Like, I don't have any images. I guess what I'm trying to say is, did they have the headlight bucket on and then they assembled all this stuff, or did they paint everything like it would have been, pre-built these, and then assembled them on the car? That's the thing. Because this is a booger. I mean, it is not an easy thing to get those headlights in there, and that's why I think about the three, however you want to put it, 3-post ones, where you have the 3 screws. You can build the bucket, just put the light in and run those screws in, and you're done. But this one, you have to fight with that spring and try to rotate it, and it's not easy. It's just so you know. Here we go. George Burns. I love your movies. I'm 9 months into my 1966 Mustang project. Bought it. Bought it. You bought it in 1966? Everything stripped to bare metal, repaired, rust treated, and epoxy primed except the hood. So you bought it in 1966? You really are George Burns. I love your movies. Glad you're here, and I'm glad you're working on it. If that's the case, I'm impressed. That's pretty good. Dave Britton. Hi, Barry. Good to see you. Good to see your picture, Dave. That's all I get is a thumbnail. Troy Justit. In my defense, it is Bourbon with Barry. I can't help it if you're late according to my clock. Okay. Rich Watley. What's up, Barry? Hey, I thought your comment on Facebook was hilarious about not knowing who Tommy Boschers is. The guy that was in Horsepower TV and Detroit Muscle Forever. I still don't know who he is. What he's talking about is on one of the Mustang forum, one of the Mustang pages, this guy, whatever this guy is, I don't even know. I really don't know. Honestly, I do not know who this guy is. Never heard of him. Never saw him before. And he posted this video clip or YouTube, thing saying what really happened, why I left Horsepower TV or something, and something. And I'm like, I don't know who you are. Like, I care. I'm just saying. I don't know. I wasn't trying to be really rude, but I was like, I don't know. Okay. I'm happy for you. Thanks, Rich. But I was dead serious. I still don't know who he is. I've never seen him. I don't even know what he's famous for or if he's famous. I don't know. Dave Tyson, it all looks good. Thank you, sir. Richard, where did you find headlight bulbs? Actually, I went on to Amazon and I bought Wagner bulbs. Oh, I got the boxes over here. So we got Wagner H5006 and H5001. I know they're not exactly. I mentioned it on Facebook that I wanted to go with original style, right? And I know there's people on there that interpret that certain ways. And so I wasn't saying original, like factory original. Because they were talking about doing these aftermarket bulbs with the LEDs in them and all that stuff. And I was like, no, I don't want that. And so I had said original style, meaning these kind of bulbs, right? Not the plastic ones with the bulb in the back that you can remove and all that stuff. I know that the original cars had either like a GE or they had a T3. That was the famous thing. It was T3 bulbs. But these are fine. These are Wagner's and they'll be fine. So that's what I got them from. And actually it was cheaper to get them from Amazon. Well, let me back up a step. I went looking for them at O'Reilly Auto Parts, Napa Auto Parts, Advance Auto Parts, because I wanted to get these things built. And I went to O'Reilly's. They didn't have any on the shelf and didn't have any of these bulbs anywhere. They had some big ones, but they didn't have these smaller ones. So then I went to Napa. They had 2 of one bulb and 1 of the other, but they also said Napa on the glass, and I was like, I don't want that. That's not even. I mean, Wagner I can live with because everybody recognizes Wagner, but I couldn't have Napa, and so I bypassed them, and then I went to Advance, and they had nothing. They were like jaws dropped, and I'm asking for these type of bulbs, and like, what is that for? And I said, never mind, I gotta go. So Amazon it was. Jerry says, howdy, Barry, howdy, all. I'm happy to report that on our last visit to Ohio, Robert got his gobs. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. And in another couple weeks, we're going up north, and I'm going to get more gobs. Doyle, they used a tool called a spring hook. I have one for use, one I use for my job, just smaller. Yeah, I'm sure they had a special tool, but it's just, this has to hook onto the stainless ring first, from my impression. So you almost like have to assemble it from the back, is what I feel like. I don't want to have to change a bulb in these. I can tell you that. They're no fun. Robert says the Queen's birthday was the 31st. Well, happy birthday, Jerry. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. That's all you get. Dominic, Barry, I have an issue with my driver's side door window. Just looking for your 2 cents. Am I able to send in some pictures? You can. Those might be. I mean, you can try to send them to me, and maybe we can look and see what you've got going on. So, if you look at my email on the bottom of the screen, joedaddysgarage@gmail.com, send me a couple of pictures and we'll see what we can do. Can't promise you anything because a lot of times it's hard to see details in a door imagery. Just saying, but you can try. Rick says, does Tammy have insurance on the Cobra Jet right now? If not, definitely should have before it gets transported to Florida. Never know what could happen during transport. That's a valid point, and I don't know if she does. We'll talk about that when we get to that because we're getting closer to it. We're definitely getting closer to that. Good point. Thank you, Rick. Robert says, never heard of Tommy Bosher's Horsepower TV or Detroit Muscle Power. Yeah, I have no idea. I really, honestly, have no idea who the guy is, and I'm guessing he's someone important or something. I don't know. I don't know. Troy Joseph says, happy birthday to the Queen. That's to Jerry. And thank you, Troy. It was the 27th anniversary of my 29th birthday. Yeah. Rich Watley, he was just one of those guys that was on Power Block TV back in the day. If not for us, his unique voice, I wouldn't have remembered him. I think he expected a fan following. Oh, yeah. I guess so. He kills me sometimes. You know, um, and I try not to downplay people that are interested in what I do. Meaning, if I'm at an event somewhere, or I've been places where people said, "Oh, hey, are you Joe Daddy?" Not even without my hat on, just because of my look. And I say, "Yeah, I am." And they're like, "Oh, cool. I've been watching your videos on this or that or whatever." And I'm like, "Great," and I talk to them, and I have a good time with it, and I want them to understand I'm just a regular person. I'm not, you know, I, I don't consider myself anything special by any means, and I don't try to downplay their interest, because it's if they're getting something out of what I'm doing, then I'm happy to be sharing it with them, right? But I don't like this guy, whoever he is. I don't know what he does, or it wouldn't matter if he was the president of Ford or whatever. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't even know who that is because I don't pay attention to it. It's just like when I was in the military, and I can tell you that I got in trouble on a few occasions because I was interacting. I was like a PFC or E2 or private or whatever, and we were doing some demonstrations, and there was some commanding generals, right? So you have the general. If you look at generals, there's like 5 different levels: uh, brigadier general, major general, little general, general, and then the general of the army. So there's like 5 levels. And I had this like, I don't know if he was a 2 or 3-star general come up to me. And he was an older guy. I mean, he was definitely like almost like a grandfather figure in my mind. And he started asking me questions, and I was like, he's asking me, I was a mortar gunner, so he's asking me questions about my mortar and stuff. And I'm like, well, yeah, this does this does that. And he was, oh, okay, well, tell me this. And I was just going through this general conversation with a guy, right? I was just talking to him. And I never said sir, I never said general, I never said anything. I just treated him like he was somebody that was, wanted some answers. I just didn't give any authority to him. And I got in trouble for it. I had my platoon sergeant pull me aside. He said, "Do you know who that guy is?" I'm like, "No, not really." And he's like, "Oh, this is General blah blah blah." And I said, "Oh, okay, good." It's like, "Well, you never showed him, you never saluted him, you never did this, you never did that." I said, "Oh, I didn't even think I had to." We were out in the field at the time. It wasn't like we were in a barracks situation. So it was just funny. I don't let that kind of thing really become a distraction. Let's say. I like meeting people. I like talking to them and interacting. But like this guy, whoever he is, I just, okay, glad you're here. Doyle did a little sanding today to the replacement passenger door on the Cutlass today. Got a win. What I thought was self-etched was actually meadow green poly paint without clear. Came off pretty easily. Okay. Whoops. Meadow green poly paint. That's, they gave him a lot of really interesting names, back then. Delmarine, I've had the same headlights in my 65 Mustang for over 35 years, and they came with the car, probably 50 years old. There's a chance of that. Glad you're here. Let's see. Jerry says, Terry here, almost that time of year. Go Buckeyes. Oh, yeah. And he also says, happy birthday, Jerry. And they're waiting for something with Buckeyes. I think it's like a snack or something. Like Buc-ee's. They have new snacks they release at Buc-ee's. Is that what that is? Buckeyes? Something? I don't know. Rick says, Tommy claimed he was the longest running host doing automotive shows, but he has been beaten by people like Joe Elmore and Stacy David. Yeah, I know who Stacy David is. I wouldn't know who Joe Elmore is. Not a clue. Never heard of him. But I know who Stacy David is. I think it wasn't like Stacy David like a musician too or something. I don't. Just that. No, it's a rumor. Okay. Jerry says, thank you, Terry. Rich, the content that you and Robert have made is far more useful than anything I've ever seen on Spike TV or whatever. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, and again, we're not entertainers. Definitely not entertainers. So, glad you like it. Rick Gain, all the hosts that lost their jobs when Motor Trend shut down are all now trying to make it big on YouTube. And they probably will. Simply because people know him from that series. So they probably will have a good following, I'm sure. And that's good for them. It is. Terry Keith says, Jerry, please educate Barry. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, what's this thing at Buc-ee's? These Buckeyes? I think my wife likes the Bucky Nuggets, is what she goes for. Is that something similar? Because I don't know. Rick, sadly, Joel Elmore, the original host of Horsepower TV, passed away recently. Oh. Yeah, I can say that I don't know that I've ever even watched Horsepower TV. I don't know. I don't remember. I mean, I think I've heard of it, but I don't think I've ever watched it that I know of. And not to be, I'm just indifferent about it. Just don't know. Um, the Marine says, by the way, my son loves your blue Joe Daddy's baseball cap. I got the black one. Awesome. Happy to hear that. Jerry says something about Pittsburgh, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm skipping over that. Just tell me about the Bucky Nuggets. That's all I want to know about. Robert says, I'm not entertaining, but thanks. Lots of stuff here to why I haven't made any video. Rib pick sent. Kept half a rack. The rest goes to mom, as it's one thing she will eat after her surgery. Okay. So I have to look and see, be tortured by Robert sending me pictures of ribs. It's just not right. It's just not right. Let me see if I can pull that up so everybody can enjoy and whet their appetite for some ribs. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. That's yeah. Awesome. Okay. Jerry says Robert is entertaining when he thinks he can out debate me. Yeah. We won't even try that. You win. We haven't had cable in decades, and I don't watch much of that stuff on TV anyway. Yeah. And Doyle says, you are entertaining. Don't sell yourself short. I use your catch. Okay. Terry says, Columbus, Ohio is home to OSU, the Ohio State Buckeyes. Okay. Is it like snack cakes or something? Like, is that like gobs? A Buckeye? I'm not sure what a Buckeye is. Robert says I did eat the piece that fell off. Yeah, you know, I think my piece fell off the whole right side. I think. Rick says, okay, after the picture, we need Robert's address. Yeah. Delmarine, so I do get notifications for all your videos, I do not get notifications for all your videos, even though it's set to all. Yeah, I'm pretty confident. I really am. I really feel like there's some sort of a shadow ban thing going on with YouTube, with my stuff. I get a lot of people that tell me they're subscribed, they've got the bell notifications, and they know nothing. They said like, I don't see your videos. So I don't even know if it matters about the whole bell thing, as far as I want everybody to do that, obviously, but and I don't know if shadow ban is the right word, but YouTube does not promote me. They don't want to promote me, and I guess maybe because I've been on there too long or something. I don't know, but I wish there was something I could do to make it work the way it's supposed to work. David, I am sure every time I get on here and see Robert's name, I can smell barbecue. There you go. You get another look. I think he uses it like cologne. I think he drains off the sauce and makes a cologne out of it. Doyle Walker, take care of yourselves. See ya. Yeah, yeah. And I mean that sincerely. I really do. When I say that at the end of all my videos, I do mean that. I tag that in, emails. Take care of yourselves, because we have to. Right now, I know that for me, I've got a variety of things that need medical attention. I need to have my knee looked at again. Probably going to have some sort of surgery at some point. I'm actually scheduled for a surgery to get my finger fixed since the trigger finger is now messed up to where they can't do anything with it. So I'm going to be having a surgery on that in the near future to get that fixed. But yeah, you gotta take care of yourselves because nobody else is going to. But the see you thing, that's I think my brother actually would say something similar to that. You know, I don't remember exactly anymore what his uh, goodbye was. But I think it was similar to that. It may have been just see you. You know. Jerry says, "Ugh, it is okay, Terry. I mean, they do have Penn State. Yeah. Oh, awesome. Yes. Gotta have Penn State. That's where people get educated. Edumacated. Betty says, college football, Ohio State Buckeyes. Oh, football. I still don't know what a Buckeye is, though. What's that? What does that mean? I don't know what a Buckeye is. TJ killing us with the ribs. Man, they look delicious. Yeah, they sure do. Robert says, I get notifications to channels I'm not subscribed to, but not ones I'm subbed to. Yeah, that's just doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. George Burns, I watched several of your Brooklyn Pony videos when I was fitting up the front valance, rock guard, and fenders. I had to do the same mod on the rock guard that you did to get a good fit. Yep. I'm not surprised, and I'm glad it helped, George. I'm very glad it helped. There's so many of these things, the videos that I make showing people what's wrong and what you need to fix and how to fix it. And I just try to emphasize that. I want to make sure everybody has a grasp on what they're doing because, and like, we all are misled into the notion of, hey, we have all these new parts. Just buy them and put them on your car and you're ready to go. Well, yeah, if you're building a stock car or a dirt track car, right? You just bolt that stuff on there and spray it, paint it. Yeah, it looks great. Let's go. But if you're trying to build that, you're going to have to work the parts. And we all know that. But I'm glad it helped. Dumb Marine must have been the Go Brandon mug. Yeah, it might have been. They definitely would hit me for that. George asked that I get notifications from YouTube when you post a video, but Facebook canceled, I guess, me for violating their community standards. They never said what I did, so I don't see your Facebook post. That's interesting. I've been very cautious on my Facebook post on my Joe Daddy page anymore. I don't even really. I just post car stuff. That's it. I'm not even worried about. I'm just staying out of all that other stuff. It's not worth it. Just not worth it. But I do post a good bit of stuff on Facebook. And of course on Patreon, as y'all see. But I had to I did create a secondary account. I don't even know how to access it now. I created a secondary account for just in case Facebook decided to do something against my Joe Daddy's page because I'm the only one on there, the only access point. And I was like, oh, you know what? I better make another one just in case something happens. But of course, I'm just doing car stuff on there anyway. Robert, well, if it's a direct flight from DFW, I have been known to freeze ribs and brisket and deliver them in person. Challenge accepted. You can maybe do that and make a road trip down to Florida to deliver this car. Car Guy Troy, hello all, checking in. Glad you're here. Rick Gain, I inherited the saying "Stay safe" to everybody at the end of a conversation. I got that from my father. That's cool. Nice. Car guy, they have Buckeye candy. I still don't know what a Buckeye is though. I mean, seriously, is it like a is that a nut or something? I have no idea. I mean, I hear the expression, I understand it. Go Buckeyes or whatever. Um, but I don't know what a Buckeye is. It's like let's go whatever the some of these other colleges have these other expressions and names for stuff, and it's like what are you talking about? But I don't know what a Buckeye is. I I don't know. Richard, did you cut and buff the headlight extensions? They came out awesome. I did not do the top. I did that lower section where it had some runs in it. I cleaned that up. Those are gone. So that's all I had to worry about. I did not want to mess with the tops and run the risk of breaking through and having a problem, and it's just not going to happen. So they do look great. So I'm very happy with them. Dave Britton, I've always said, see you later when leaving an account or a salesperson I will probably never see again. Yeah. Yeah. There's a comedian, Brian Regan. I don't know if you ever heard of him or you know him. I recommend if you are bored and you want to have a good laugh, look at Brian Regan. And one of his earliest series was There's Something Wrong with the Regan Boy. And he plays it up about saying dumb expressions or silly things. And in that expression, like you're saying, see you later, one of his things he makes a joke about is confusing what you want to say. Like, take care or good luck or, something along those lines. And so he said he would make the mistake of saying, take luck. So my wife and I, she enjoys that comedy routine as well. We would both say that. Take luck, Uh, I forget what the other one was. There's another one that was similar to that. But Brian Regan is very funny. So check him out if you get bored. After this, stay here for now. Rick Gating, according to my Amazon Alexa, a buckeye is a kind of tree. Does that help? I guess. I mean, I still don't know what it is. Does it produce a fruit? Is there is there some industry for it? I don't know. I just don't know. Travis Holtman, one of my top patrons. Good evening, all. You, Barry, you're invaluable to me. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I really do. I really do. Hugh, unapologetic American, fashionably late. That's okay. My wife likes to be fashionably late, too. It's funny. This has been an ongoing thing because I'm ex-military, right? And so if you tell a military guy to be somewhere at 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock or 5:45, every one of us will be there at least 15 minutes early, maybe even half an hour early, because that's our mentality, right? But if we go, and this is, I think, pretty common with a lot of men and women, right? And I think in many cases, like my wife doesn't want to be the first one to show up. And that drives me crazy because I'm like, we're supposed to be there at 6. And when somebody tells me to be there at 6, I mean it's 5:45. I may sit in her driveway for 15 minutes before I go in, but that's what that means. To her, 6 means 6:10 or 6:15. And that just... I've managed to work my way through it in many cases, but it's very difficult. TJ, does anyone have knowledge of the 67 Mustang Playmate pink color cars that were produced? Knowledge as in, I know they existed. I don't know how many they made, but they're pretty rare. I know that I actually think Peterson restored one. I think. And I've seen a couple advertised for sale but I don't know what the production numbers were or anything like that. Marine, amazingly, I found your channel 5 years ago looking for information on installing a Mr. Cool air conditioner. Then realized we had a lot in common with Mustangs and such. That's cool. You know, I've done a few videos on that Mr. Cool system, and Mr. Cool actually contacted me and said, "Hey, can we put your video on our channel?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I don't care." So I think one of my videos is on the Mr. Cool one, because when I first put that thing in, I got a lot of grief. I had a lot of people saying, "Oh, that thing won't last a year. That thing won't work. You know, it'll break down. You did it wrong. All these things." I haven't touched it. I mean, I turn it on. It makes cold air in the summer. I wait in the wintertime and turn it on. It makes heat. I keep the filter clean, and that's all I've ever done to it in the whole time that I've had it. So I have no complaints about that mini split. Hugh says Buckeye trees are here in Ohio. They are a nut. They are poisonous to eat. Oh, okay. I wonder what. It's just one of those oddball things. Like you say, the Ohio State Buckeyes, but is there something valuable about the tree or the crop or something useful, or is it just an interesting sounding name, so they use that? I mean, is there some play on words that means like is there like the whole state full of these Buckeye trees? I don't, that's what I'm just kind of trying to make sense of it. Dave Britton says a Buckeye is a tree nut. Okay, thank you, sir. Rick Ain, if you use the wrong word for reducing the time in a Facebook post, they will ban you for hate speech. Won't use the word here, though. Who knows what YouTube will do? Yeah. Yeah. Not advanced is what you're saying. I understand that. Yeah, they like to pick and choose their trigger words pretty quick. Betty says they come from Buckeye trees. Okay. I might learn something tonight because my knowledge of Buckeye trees and Buckeyes is nil. But I'm learning. I'm learning. Robert, blah, 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 blah. A species of tree called Buckeye. I'm not even going to try to say that. Okay. That's helpful. Hugh says, we have a ton of Buckeye trees around me. Only thing they are good for is making decor for the Ohio State Buckeye football team. Cattle can eat the Buckeyes, but they are poisonous to everyone else. Yeah, interesting. Very interesting. Doyle says, how much base is needed for a full paint job? How many coats of clear to have enough material to cut and buff gallons? Question mark. Okay. I've had this question before, and I'm going to give you an extended answer. First, short answer is you need a gallon of paint. Okay. And I'm just going to start with that. But you also have to consider the quality of the paint. And the reason for that is the pigments. Depending on the color, you may need, if you use a lesser or less expensive base coat, you may need more paint to cover up your primers. So just consider that. Typically, you can get by with a standard paint like Omni or Shopline. You can get by with a gallon. There's usually plenty there. But if you want a little bit deeper or richer color tone, then you want to go with a better level of paint. So you can get it with the lesser brand, but it just takes everything you've got, all the paint you have, and you're usually not left over with it, anything. Also, the cheaper paints don't use the better pigments. So what I mean by that is if you've got something like this, which has black in it, green and gray and blah, 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 if this was a cheaper version of this color, instead of black, they use dark brown. So if you're looking for the truer color, you got to go with the better paint, the better pigments. So the thought is also if you use the more high quality pigments, you can use less paint. So you might be able to get it by with 3 quarts instead of a gallon. The problem is there, are you really comfortable with that? Because if you run out, now you got to go get more. Typically for me, I buy a gallon of paint. And you also, you mix that 1-to-1. Typically, most brands, I know PPG is that way, you mix it 1-to-1, so you end up with 2 gallons of sprayable. Now you put on your 2 or 3 coats, check it with the light, make sure you're not getting any primer or bleed through, let it sit, go through the process. The clear coats, again, you have varying levels of quality. Your cheap stuff doesn't have any UV protection. So it's not a high solids. It's meant to be like collision work, turnaround shops that just have bringing in a car and painting a fender for somebody's Toyota. They use a cheaper clear coat for that, and you're in and out, and it's done. And it looks good. It might look good for 3, 4, 5 years. Who knows? The more expensive clear coats, more high solids, better materials. You can spray that. You can spray the cheap stuff, but just know the UV protection isn't there. But like what I've been using, DCU 2021, is a high solids clear, and you should, I say should, be good with 3 coats of clear. I've talked to some people who've painted and they put on 4 or 5 coats of clear. Now you have to go back and think, okay, is it 4 coats of this fast spraying, or is it 4 coats of this fast spraying, right? So there's some formulation there. So when you're spraying it, is it, half a mil thick, or is it 1 mil thick? That comes into play, right? So what I would do now, typically like this, 3 coats of clear. And what I ended up doing later on was wet sanded it down. And if I found a few things I didn't like, so I did a flow coat on top of that, which really smoothed it out. So those are the kind of variables that you can come up with. I hope that gives you some insight. I don't know if that's the exact answers you were looking for, but that's kind of what I have to offer. So good question, though. Thank you for that. C&J Hoyt, hello all. We had over 4,000 registered cars at the Groit's car show this year. It was amazing. 4,000? Wow. Yeah, you need a golf cart to go around those and look at all that stuff. That's cool. Welcome. Glad to hear. So Jerry says the main point of the Buckeyes that represents a great football team, current national champions, as well as being represented by the best darn band in the land. Oh, the band is better than the football team? Is that what you're saying? Is that what that means? I don't know. I'll take that because I was a band. I would be, my kids were in band. I was in the band, so I have to go with that. The band is better than the football team. Are they the ones that do all the special little like dances and stuff moving around on the field? Is that what they do? Yeah, I don't even know. Dave Britton, I say to my wife, there is no such thing as fashionably late. It is just late. Yeah. Well, you know what? I think subconsciously, whenever somebody wants to say they don't want to be there early, subconsciously they want to arrive late so they get noticed. I think that's what it comes down to. When you get there early, nobody sees you. You just say, hey, I'm here, and you go sit down somewhere. But if you show up late, now everybody's looking at you and going, oh, they finally made it, right? They get the attention. I think that's the subconscious thing about it. This is my opinion. I could be wrong. I was wrong once before. Robert says we were planning our vacation and get into arguments when I bring up ideas for possible alternate plans if something falls through. Yeah, we're actually discussing a future vacation next year that we may consider doing. March Indy, Buckeye candy, peanut butter mixed with powdered sugar on the inside that's dipped in chocolate, tasty and fattening. Well, that is right up my alley. I think I may have had something similar to that. I don't know if it's, I mean, that sounds familiar. Peanut butter with powdered sugar on the inside and dipped in chocolate. That sounds really good. But I doubt there's any kind of Buckeye nut in that. I think it's just a name at that point. But I would eat it. I like sugar. I do. Hugh says, after I got home from a car show Sunday, I had oil on my left valve cover and around my distributor and dipstick tube. I checked the PCV valve and hose and oil breather. Both clear. It's on the full mark on the dipstick. I cleaned the oil on the engine with the brake clean. Ran the car for half an hour. Can't get it to leak anywhere. Well, that's an odd thing. I don't have anything to offer on that. That is an odd one, though. Troy, I live in your same world with my wife. Drag her feet when getting ready. I'm always waiting for her. Yeah, I've gone out and just sat in our vehicle, just start it up. I'll turn it around. I'll have it aimed down the driveway. Let's go. I haven't seen Rick Stevenson here tonight, but I have to get my coffee in. Rick is my coffee guy. So Rick, if you're watching later, I had my coffee. Thank you. Robert says your wife must be Greek when they say dinner is at 8 p.m. They really mean 9 or 10 p.m. Yeah. Well, if we're at home and having dinner, it's at a pretty accurate time. But if we're going somewhere to meet friends or something, it's no. Hugh, it's on the full mark on the dips. Oh, sorry, I read that already. Skip ahead. Steel Ponies Jeff. There was a Dust Rose that looks a lot like Playboy Pink. You're correct. Yep. Dust Rose, yep. Not the wrestler, not Dusty Rhodes. Dust Rose. They've written, since Buckeye trees are in Ohio, it is a symbol of Ohio. Okay. So it's a poisonous nut. Poisonous nuts live in Ohio. Is that what they're saying? Rick Ain, perhaps try a Google image for search for Buckeye. I may do that later. Hugh says the Buckeye nut got its name from the Native Americans because the way the nut is colored, it looks like a deer's eye, a buck deer. Google what the Buckeye nut looks like, you will understand. Oh, I'll get it now. Oh, that makes sense. If that's the case, that makes more sense now to me now than anything else. So, because you see that the name, Buckeye, and you're like, what does that mean? Okay, so it kind of looks like a big hazelnut, kind of. Now I get it. That sounds like a good one. I'll take that. Car guy Troy, the candy resembles a nut. It's peanut butter fudge, partially dipped in chocolate, so it looks like an eye. Oh. Well, now I need to get some of those. I need to get some of those and try them. Hugh, by the way, there was 320 cars at the car show. My 67 got top 25. Well, that's cool. Ah. Okay. So I've got some pictures here. I don't know if I can show them all. So let me see. What year is this car again, Dominic? I'm going to download a couple of these so that we can look at them. Give me just a second. Talk more about Buckeyes. So this car is a 65 or 66 from what I'm seeing. Okay. Let me delete a couple of these pictures I have here. So his question is about these windows. Now, I've done videos on the window adjustments. So I don't know if you've seen those or not, Dominic, but there are several um, videos that I've done showing that. Now here's a shot on the inside, and as he's pointing out, he's saying too tight at top. Let me back this one off a second. Too tight at top, and then there's this one where you look and you see the window assembly looks like it's pushing towards the outboard side of the window fuzzies. That's all I'm going to be able to pull up at this point. There are adjustments within the quarter window that you can make, and there's adjustments you can make on the door glass. Maybe you can elaborate a little more as to what what you tried or something. But I've done videos on those, especially on Jade, and I can't say they're exactly the same. As far as I think the quarter windows are the same, but the doors, I don't know if they're exactly the same or not. So, that's what the pictures are that he was wanting to talk about. Dave Britton, are you pretty safe with PPG paint? Yeah, I would say yes, but again, you have those variables of Shopline, Omni, Deltron, whatever, as far as quality. So, I think in most cases you get by with just about any paint. Typically, what they'll say is, okay, if you're going to use PPG paint, use their clear coat, use all their, don't cross the streams, right? But I can't see where there's any difference if you're using a base coat from one company and a clear coat from another. They're independent. The function of it's just a chemical interaction, basically. One is when the base coat is dry and you add clear coat to it, I don't see any difference, especially if you're using maybe using a similar reducer. If if that's the case, and most people don't. Some clears use such a minimal amount of reducer, but I'm just saying, I think you can mix things and have it be fine. I don't see this, the fact that they only use PPG or blah 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 or whatever with their products. They're trying to make sure you buy their products. Jeff Norrisnet, hey Barry, my Redline rotisserie came today. Thank you for the help. Awesome. Glad I could help. Richard, does Just Welder offer discount code through you? I need to upgrade my current MIG welder. Yes. If you go to my description box down below, in any of my recent videos, especially in the Yes Welder videos that I've made recently, there should be a link that'll take you to their site and should give you a discount. So that's all I can really tell you. I can't do that right now while we're doing this, but yeah, there should be a discount available. Dave Britton just walk into the party with an inflatable doll date, and you always get noticed. Yeah, you definitely get noticed. Robert says the Buckeye band is very good and worth watching. Too bad Michigan has a better team. Now, if you could put the Michigan team together with Ohio's band, you would have a great combo. I'm staying out of that. Z for speed. Yo, my friend, just bought a stock 10-speed Camaro SS, but I have a 5.0 10-speed with a X-pipe. Who wins? Oh, I guess you win. If you have both of those, I'm going to say you win. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. Glad you're here though. You win. If you have both of those, you win. Marine, good night all. Kiddo, reading time before bedtime. We get up early. Yeah. Glad you're here. Dominic says the car is a 66. Hugh, since I live in that area of Ohio farm country, you need to come visit me. I can show you Buckeye trees. The Buckeye candy is a lot like a Reese's cup, chocolate covered peanut butter balls. You know, you had me a chocolate and peanut butter and sugar. I I love that stuff. I will say that every morning, and this you're all gonna hate me for this probably, maybe. Every morning I have coffee, and I have a peanut butter cream pie, Little Debbie's snack cake. I love peanut butter, so um, yeah, I would definitely consume that. Michael Pagliarini, evening all. Evening, sir. Glad you're here. Dominic, I have adjusted everything, including the door at the hinge. I am confused how the window seems twisted in the door as it should be straight. The vent window adjustment is maxed out. Um, and that's what I'm saying. It's really hard to answer the questions on the doors. Did you see the videos that I made on Jade and showing those adjustments? Because sometimes what we run into, and I'm not saying this is a case, sometimes you feel like you're moving something in one direction when you're actually moving it in the wrong direction. Your mind is, I've done it myself. I've tried to adjust something and thinking, oh, I need to turn this in so that when I tighten it up, it'll do this. And I end up finding out, wait a minute, I went the wrong way. I need to go out. And then when I tightened it up, it would draw it to a certain point. So I don't have an easy answer with that. Jerry says, hush, Robert. Sheesh. Hugh says, I used to like you, Robert. Go Buckeyes. Go team. Go team, go. Dominic says, fortunately, the passenger side is perfect. Yeah. And, you may run into, I don't know the history of the vehicle. I don't know the history of the, the doors, whether they're factory, aftermarket, even that comes into play, that things can be off and you may be out of adjustment simply because they built the door wrong. Even the original cars, there's probably some value in how the door was made. Those could be off. I'm just saying, there's lots of variables there. Dominic, watch the videos on Jade to see if there's anything I missed. Okay. Rick Gain, the wrestler Dusty Rhodes, not Rose. Also, is everybody aware that in the wrestling world, Hulk Hogan passed away last week? Yep. Yep. Unfortunately, I guess we all got a date with destiny at some point. I'm surprised that these guys, they're what all they've done to themselves over the years, survived as long as they did. To be honest. Jerry says, "Don't worry upon Hugh; he will be dealt with." Robert says, "Hugh, I like giving you a hard time about Michigan versus Ohio. My ringtone on her phone is the Michigan fight song. Yes, I call her when she was at the airport in Ohio just to make her mad." Car guy Troy had a guy show up at the company Christmas party with an inflatable doll. He definitely got noticed. Was hilarious that a band and he was dancing with it all night. Alcohol may have been involved. And she probably laughed at all his jokes too. He's laughing at Robert. Michael, does anyone have plans to go to Putnam, Connecticut Cruise 810? I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to be able to make that. So, Putnam, Connecticut. Yeah. I don't think I'll make that one. Okay. Now, as I was saying earlier, I'm still working on the headlight buckets, getting those assembled. That's the other thing I want to point out. Just in case. You probably can't see this. But this area right here, where the grill goes, let me get the light to hit that. I flattened that out with black. I've talked about this before. when the grill is in this body color, if you have a light colored car, yellow, blue, whatever, white, this is supposed to be black on these 69s because the grill sits here and they didn't want body color showing up behind the grill. They wanted it to blend in. So make sure you do that if you haven't already. Just an observation. Terry says, Jerry, take Robert's ribs away from him, just bread and water. Yep. Man cannot live on bread alone. Michael says 2,000 plus cars showed up last year. That would be fun to see, but I'm not going to be able to make that. That's this coming weekend, so not going to be around. Yeah, we're planning a short road trip. We're going to go back to Pennsylvania, and this year happens to be my 40-year high school reunion. It's also 40 years ago that I entered the military. So there may be another thing going on with my military buddies. But 40-year class reunion, so we're going to go back to Pennsylvania for a long weekend. And, hang out with some family. I'm going to go by the junkyard, even though I know that this place is gone. They've destroyed the house and the garage. It's all gone. So I'll go up there and pay my respects to my brother, who's interred there with his ashes at that place. But nothing to do about it. Life goes on. So we'll be enjoying our weekend trip. That's for sure. Jerry said, "Oh, good idea, Terry and Richard. I've learned more from Barry than I have from any other show. I love being a patron." Well, thank you, Richard. I'm glad you're here. I really am. Okay, as I said, I have a video that I will be putting on Patreon about the headlight buckets and the assemblies. I'm probably done with what I can do right now on these pieces. So I may just have to start working on the hood and see if I can't get that done this week. I've got a lot of video on that already because I had started to prep it, and then I found that shallow dent, and my PDR guy came over and fixed it. And so I just need to sand it and relax, prepping out the stripes so that everything goes exactly like it's supposed to do on the first try, and I don't have to ever look at it again. That's going to be the challenge. Right now, as I said before, painting stresses me out, but I've been more stressed with the thought of blacking out the hood. Not because of the process. It's because of the chance that it could get some dust nibs in it. That's the thing that bothers me the most, because I can't go back and redo it. Like, I could respray it, but you can't sand and buff a flat color. Just doesn't. You can't do it. So if it has something in it, it's just going to have to stay there. And I hate that, but I don't have any other choices. It's just the way it is. And I really don't have any other options. Car guy Troy, car behind you looks super good. Love the color. Is that yours or the one you have been working on for a while? Been out of touch for a minute. Yeah, this is the Cobra Jet. And so it's near the end of what I'm doing with it. At this point, I just have to install the headlight buckets and the front trim, the front valance, and bumper and brackets and whatever else, all that front stuff. I've got to black out the hood and the cowl panel and paint the trim ring for the shaker scoop. Put all that on, and then I'm done. Then it goes away. So somebody else will be doing all the finish work to it. And hopefully they don't cause any damage to anything that I've already done to it. Dave Britton, would it be worth taking the car to a shop that has a decent, high quality booth that does really nice paintwork? That's an option. Yeah, for the hood, I'm considering that. And I may contact some people. I did have access to a paint booth that was local, but it's gone now. The guy sold the shop, and the paint booth was taken out, so I don't even have that access. Um, but I may talk to some shops. I've even thought about, instead of me spraying it, just paying a shop and let their painter spray it. Just be done with it. You know, um, as much as I'd like to do it, and I can do it, but if they can do it and not have any dust nibs or anything like that, I'm okay with that. I'd be very happy to have that happen. Otherwise, I'm like redoing the hood, and I don't want to do that. So I will look into it a little bit. That's a good idea, and see if I can't make that happen. So otherwise, I think that's going to be it for tonight. You know, I'm getting hungry. I'm talking about Buckeyes and chocolate and peanut butter, and I may have to go get some ice cream or something. Richard, great show and chat. Have a great night, everyone. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna call tonight. I will be back next Monday at 7 o'clock, and I'm not sure about the following Monday just yet. We'll find out, but that's where we're at. And all I can say is keep watching the videos, leave comments, thumbs up, everything you can to help keep the channel alive. The times I feel like it's not living anymore, but I am trying to make it happen still. So that'll be it for tonight. So until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.